So this time from the Marvel Legends 2012 second wave, we're taking a look at the 6th figure spot, which is one of the running changes figures that they have, switching between Madam Mask and Madam Hydra. Now, most people I've seen have gotten the Madam Hydra before the Madam Mask, and I actually had to go and find the Madam Mask on eBay. So it's strange that they call this a running change with equal sort of representation between the two characters. But it seems like Madam Hydra, which actually comes with the alternate piece, the variant piece of the Arnim Zola figure. So, proof to me that she's kind of more like a variant than a running change. Sculpt-wise, she uses pretty much the same body as the female S.H.I.E.L.D. agent or Maria Hill. One thing I dislike about the figure is the head sculpt. It's not that good. If you ask me from a distance, it kind of looks like Tori Spelling. But the main reason I don't like it is because, well, my idealized version of the character would be the one that made the appearance way back in Captain America number 110, drawn by Jim Steranko in, I think it was 69. And that's the one that pretty much had half of her face covered with hair because she hid the scars that she received growing up in war-torn Europe. And it was really a major part of her character. And so this one doesn't have any scars or the hair hiding those scars. So it's, a little disappointing that way. The forearms are a real disappointment too, but we'll get back to those later. The paint job is alright. There's no big mess ups. It's pretty clean. I do like the gun painted green there, and green is my favorite color, so I am kind of partial to it. But you get a nice two tones, a lighter green and darker green. And there is some paint difference, though, slight paint difference between her upper torso and her lower torso. But from a distance, you really can't tell too much. Now, getting to her accessories, she comes with two. They are this assault rifle, but it's got a very nice paint job to it this time. You've seen it before with Black Widow. It's sort of a scaled down weapon for female figures, but they give us this nice light green olive paint job here in the stock and the barrel and on the magazine, so that's pretty cool. And the other accessory she comes with does fit into her holster pretty well, and is that nicely metallic green painted pistol, and it fits into the belt. Something that is, I don't know, I guess it's alright, but these belts on this wave here, they tend to be loose. They don't like to secure them with glue or peg system for some reason, and it can be kind of annoying, but if you let it sit there, it just sits in one spot, and on your shelf and looks pretty good. So, they guess they really don't need to glue it. Back to the arms here, the forearms. They lack the wrist movement. That is kind of unfortunate when it comes to using her weapons, particularly her pistol here. As you can see, the pistol fits in to her hand quite well, but she holds it at such an odd angle that you can't really, and it's just kind of annoying to me. Can't really have it straight out, her arm extended straight out, and have the gun face forward. You gotta bend her elbow a little bit, which does kind of limit your posing ability with the figure. And, well, let's get back to the other parts for articulation here. Her head is on a ball joint, so she can go left and right, but her hair does get in the way, so she doesn't go really up and down too well. Her arms do go 360 around there and go out and in at the shoulder. Very, well, not stiff, but very secure joint there. There's no bicep articulation, and her elbows do bend and rotate, and she rotates at the inside the gloves at the forearm. She has the upper torso articulation, forward and back, left and right. That's it. No waist articulation. Her hips are articulation. She's got the... It's alright. It's more along the lines of the older Hasbro articulation, where you gotta manipulate the joint in here, and then the thigh swivel to get her leg into a forward position. But it's not too bad. You can get it going with a little bit of perseverance. She's got double knee joints, no articulation further on the legs except at the ankles, where she bends forward and back and rotates. So that's the articulation. If you want to go back into the history of the character, like I said, she first appeared in Captain America number 110 in 1969, and back then, since it was still worked back then, they gave her this. It's always kind of nebulous exactly where she grew up, but she grew up in the ashes of World War II and in Eastern Europe somewhere. And she was scarred, I believe, in an attack or a bombing or something. And it just basically because she grew up in the ruins of her city, whichever city it was, and was pretty much preyed upon until deciding to become tough and joining Hydra. And she was actually taken and raised by a commander of Hydra. You're gonna laugh, but it's kind of a jokey thing. They're kind of a goofy character, but it was he dressed up looked like a pirate, and his name was Commander Kraken. Yeah, he didn't stick around too long. I think he was created in the 60s sometime. But anyway, he took her under his wing and groomed her, raising her to be this agent of Hydra. And she eventually severed her ties with Hydra and first assisted the criminal known as Viper in creating this, I think they called themselves first the Serpent Squad, and she sort of joined up with him and basically to kill him eventually and take over his organization, which she did, and she also took his name and called herself the Viper for quite a long time. So she took over the leadership of this group called the Serpent Squad. They were all basically themed after snakes and reptiles. She's instrumental in the first search for the Serpent Crown, which I think took place in through Captain America and Marvel 2-in-1. So eventually, through this group, she meets up with the Silver Samurai, and they begin a partnership, which blossoms into a sort of a romance, if you will, as much as she can care about anybody. And one thing I remember about her is that she led this attempt to take over another serpent-themed criminal enterprise called the Serpent Society, which happened in the pages of Captain America again, and part of that plan was a plot to turn people into these snake-like people, and yeah, other people may remember this, but she actually turned the president Reagan into one of these snake people, and Captain America fought the president, which was very, kind of funny and goofy. After that, the next thing I recall is that she blackmailed Wolverine into marrying her in order to gain control of a criminal empire on the island of Madripoor, which somehow I guess Wolverine had a great deal of influence on. So they do marry, but in the resolution of that storyline, they get divorced. So I guess she retains, because she married Wolverine, she still gets the criminal empire in Madripoor. However, I guess recently she's rejoined Hydra, and however, before that she was replaced as something that I don't like, and only found out about quite recently. She was replaced as Madam Hydra by a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent and lover of Nick Fury by the name of Countess Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, who turned out to be a traitor to S.H.I.E.L.D. and rejoined Hydra as a new Madam Hydra. And I believe she dies somehow and then is resurrected. But they give her these weird tentacle things coming from her head, so she looks more like Medusa than anything else. And I know she's joined with Norman Osborn and the remnants of Hammer to cause trouble for the Avengers, I guess. So that's pretty much it for her story. Not so much liking her character now, but a very big fan of the classic character Viper, and even back in the 60s and 70s when she was Madam Hydra, and in the Jim Steranko Captain America issues. She's really a good villainess. So next time we'll be back for the other figure, the switch out figure of Madame Mask. And until then, I'll see you.